When the world is still, when the night begins to fade, and the first light of dawn begins to appear, that is when Allah opens a door of mercy that many people overlook. Most of the world is asleep, chasing dreams that vanish when they wake, but the one who rises for Fajr enters into a moment unlike any other. It's a sacred silence, a calm so pure that even your heart can feel the difference. And in that moment, one verse from the Quran can change the entire course of your day, and sometimes even your life. There is something incredibly powerful about the early hours of the morning. The stillness before the world wakes up, the quiet hum of life beginning to stir, the feeling that time itself has slowed down to let your soul breathe. Those moments after Fajr are not ordinary, they are sacred. They are a gift that Allah gives every day, yet so many of us rush past them. The time after Fajr carries a kind of tranquility that no amount of sleep or rest can replace. It's not just another morning. It's the beginning of a new opportunity, a new page in the story of your life. And how you start it determines how the rest of your day will unfold. When you sit after Fajr and the world is calm, your heart is more open, your thoughts are clearer, and your soul is most connected to its Creator. That is the best time to remember Allah, to speak to Him, and to allow His words through the Qur'an to fill the emptiness inside. There's a reason why scholars and the righteous before us cherished this time. They understood that the hours after Fajr are blessed, that the angels bear witness to the remembrance that happens in those minutes, and that whatever you do in that time carries multiplied reward. It's as if Allah designed those hours to recharge your soul before you step into the noise and chaos of the world. When you open the Quran after Fajr, you're not just reading, you're connecting. You're feeding your soul the nourishment it craves. You're giving yourself something no worldly thing can offer: clarity, calmness, and direction. The power of early morning remembrance lies in its ability to transform your state of mind. You might wake up tired, uncertain, or worried, but a few verses from the Quran can wash all that away and remind you who is really in control. It's in those moments that you begin to see life differently. You start realizing that every difficulty, every delay, and every disappointment has a divine reason. When you recite and reflect upon Allah's words in those peaceful hours, your perspective shifts. You begin your day not with anxiety but with trust. The early morning remembrance after Fajr has the power to protect your heart from the heaviness that the world throws at you later in the day. It reminds you that no matter how much the world demands from you, your peace and strength come from Allah alone. Think of how different your life would feel if you made it a habit to start every morning this way. Imagine rising before the sun, praying Fajr, and then sitting quietly, no distractions, no noise, just you and the words of Allah. Imagine how light your heart would feel, how calm your mind would be, and how centered your soul would become. That feeling of peace would stay with you through your work, your struggles, your relationships, and even your challenges. You would walk through your day grounded, knowing that you began it with the remembrance of the one who controls all things. There's a special kind of barakah, blessing, in this time. The Prophet Muhammad said that Allah has placed blessing in the early morning hours. That means that if you use that time wisely, whether through prayer, Qur'an, or reflection, everything else you do that day will carry a certain ease, a certain flow that you can't explain but can feel. Doors begin to open, solutions appear, your heart feels lighter, you become more patient, more hopeful, more in tune with your purpose. That's the power of the early morning remembrance. It doesn't just prepare you for the day, it transforms you. It teaches you that success doesn't begin with action, it begins with intention. It begins with remembering who you are and who you depend on. Those moments after Fajr are not meant to be wasted scrolling through your phone or rushing back to sleep. They're meant to be invested in your connection with Allah, the one who can make your entire day and your entire life fall beautifully into place. So tomorrow, when you pray Fajr, don't hurry away. Sit for a few moments. Let the silence of the dawn surround you. Open the Qur'an, even if it's just for one verse. Let it speak to your heart. Let it remind you that every sunrise is a new mercy, a new chance to begin again. Because when you fill the start of your day with the remembrance of Allah, you'll notice something extraordinary. Your heart will feel alive, your path will feel lighter, and your day will unfold with the kind of peace that only the early morning can bring. Sometimes, all it takes is one verse, just one, to completely transform the way you think, feel, and live. You don't need to read pages upon pages to find peace. Sometimes it's a single line from the Qur'an that speaks directly to your heart in a way nothing else ever could. The power of a single verse lies not in the number of words it contains, but in the depth of meaning it carries. Every word of the Qur'an is divine, carefully chosen by Allah, and filled with wisdom that extends far beyond time and language. When you recite one verse sincerely, especially after Fajr, when your heart is still soft and your mind is calm, that verse can settle deep within your soul and stay with you for the entire day, guiding your thoughts, shaping your actions, and bringing peace to your heart. Think about it. The Qur'an is not just a book of words, it's a book of life. It's not meant to be rushed through, it's meant to be felt. Sometimes you can read one verse for days and still find something new each time you reflect on it. That's how deep the words of Allah are. One verse can be a light that illuminates your darkest moments. One verse can bring clarity when you're drowning in confusion. One verse can be the comfort you need when no human words seem to help. The Qur'an is alive, its meanings unfold according to the state of your heart. That's why a single verse can speak differently to different people, because Allah knows exactly what each heart needs to hear. When you recite a verse after Fajr, the time when your heart is most pure and your soul is most connected, you're giving that verse the best soil to grow in. Your morning reflection becomes like a seed, one that blossoms throughout the day. You might be facing challenges, pressure, or uncertainty, but the verse you recited keeps echoing in your heart, reminding you that Allah is with you. It's like an invisible shield, protecting your peace and strengthening your patience. For example, imagine reciting the verse, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." It's short, but its impact is endless. You might face difficulties during the day, moments where you feel like giving up, but suddenly your heart whispers that verse again. It gives you hope, it calms your fear. It reminds you that Allah's promise is real. That's the miracle of the Qur'an. It doesn't just inform, it transforms. When you make it a habit to recite one verse after Fajr, you begin to train your mind and heart to turn to Allah before turning to the world. You start your day not with worry or rush, but with reflection and peace. And that single act changes everything. You'll notice that your reactions to stress become calmer, your patience grows, and your gratitude deepens. You begin to see signs of Allah's wisdom in places you never noticed before. Because when you give your first thoughts of the day to Allah, He blesses the rest of your thoughts that follow. The beauty of focusing on one verse is that it gives you space to live that verse. You don't just memorize it, you carry it with you. You think about its meaning, how it applies to your life, and how you can embody its message. And slowly, you realize that the Qur'an isn't distant, it's personal, it's speaking directly to you. Allah didn't reveal it just to be recited, He revealed it to be reflected upon, to be absorbed, to be lived. Sometimes, we think that transformation requires huge changes, hours of study, long rituals, or countless actions. But the truth is, real transformation often begins with something small and sincere. One verse, one reflection. One quiet moment after Fajr can start a ripple effect that changes the way you see the world. You start to feel guided, as if Allah Himself is showing you the way, because in reality He is. So every morning after Fajr, choose one verse, any verse, don't rush. Read it slowly with intention. Think about what it means for you in your current situation. Let it stay with you as you go through your day. You'll be amazed how one verse, recited with sincerity, can bring strength when you're weak, light when you feel lost, and hope when you're weary. Because in those divine words lies the power to transform hearts, and yours could be next. There's something special about the moments after Fajr, not just because it's early morning, but because it's the time when your heart is awake in a way that it isn't at any other hour. After Fajr, the world is quiet. The noise of life hasn't begun yet. The phones are still, the streets are empty, and the sky carries that soft glow of peace before the day truly starts. In those few minutes, your soul is most connected to its Creator. It's as if everything in creation pauses just long enough for you to realign your heart. This is the time when the Quran doesn't just reach your ears, it reaches your soul. And that's what makes the moments after Fajr so powerful. After a night of rest, your heart and mind are clean slates. There's no distraction, no rush, no chaos. It's the one time of day when your thoughts are pure, and your focus can be directed completely toward Allah. That's why the remembrance of Allah and the recitation of Quran at this time carry a different kind of beauty. When you recite a verse after Fajr, it doesn't just pass through your lips, it settles deep within your being. You feel it, you live it. And it becomes a source of calm that carries you through the day. The Quran itself describes the Fajr time as being witnessed by the angels who record the recitation and the remembrance of those who remember Allah at dawn. Imagine that while the world sleeps, the angels are writing your name in their scrolls because you chose to begin your day with His words. That's a moment of honor. That's a moment of connection that you can't replicate later in the day, no matter how much you try. Because the spiritual energy of Fajr is unlike any other time. It's quiet, it's sacred, it's personal. Think about how much your heart needs peace, how often your thoughts are overwhelmed by stress, how easily your mind becomes distracted by the world. Yet, in those peaceful minutes after Fajr, Allah gives you the chance to reset. When you sit quietly after prayer and recite a verse, you're telling your soul, let's begin with peace. Let's begin with remembrance. And that choice changes your entire outlook. It's not just a ritual. It's a renewal of faith every single morning. The connection you build with Allah after Fajr is not something you can see with your eyes, but you can feel it in your heart. You'll notice that when you start your day this way, things begin to fall into place more easily. You handle challenges differently. Your patience grows. Your heart becomes lighter. That's not coincidence. That's the effect of spiritual nourishment. Just as your body needs breakfast to start the day strong, your soul needs the Quran after Fajr to start the day centered and balanced. Without it, you might still move through your day, but you'll feel something missing. That inner calm that only remembrance can bring. There's also a deep psychological benefit in connecting with Allah after Fajr. When you wake early, before the rest of the world, you're already stepping away from distractions. You're training your mind to focus on what truly matters. You're giving yourself permission to breathe, to reflect, to prepare mentally and spiritually for the day ahead. The peace you feel isn't just emotional, it's divine. It's the kind of peace that comes when the heart remembers its purpose. Many people say they feel closest to Allah at night or at dawn, and there's a reason for that. The silence of the early morning amplifies the voice of your soul. The Qur'an you read doesn't just sound beautiful, it feels beautiful. You feel its message resonating with your own struggles, your hopes, your fears. It's as if Allah Himself is comforting you through His words. That is why this time is so precious, because it's when you can listen without interruption, when you can pour out your heart without judgment, and when you can feel His presence more clearly than ever. So, when you wake for Fajr, don't rush away after the prayer. Stay seated for a few extra minutes. Let the silence surround you. Open the Quran even if it's just one verse. Read it slowly. Reflect on it. Let it fill your heart with light before the day begins. Because once the day starts, once the noise returns, you won't find this stillness again until the next dawn. Protect this time. Cherish it. It's not just another morning. It's an open invitation from Allah to come closer to Him, to find peace in His words, and to begin your day connected to the one who gave it to you. That connection, that feeling of closeness, is what makes Fajr so powerful. It's when your heart is most alive, your soul most receptive, and your faith most present. Every verse you recite after Fajr doesn't just prepare you for the day, it strengthens your bond with the one who created the day itself. And when you start your morning like that, there's nothing that can shake your peace. When you recite the Qur'an after Fajr, you are not just reading words. You are conversing with Allah. You are engaging in a dialogue between your heart and the creator of that heart. It is one of the purest forms of worship, done at a time when distractions are at their lowest and sincerity is at its highest. The beauty of this moment lies in its simplicity. It's just you, the stillness of dawn, and the words of Allah, timeless, powerful, and alive. Each verse you recite holds a message meant to reach deep within you, to guide you, to heal you, and to remind you that you are never alone. After Fajr, your mind is clear. You're not yet drowned in the noise of the world, in the conversations, the worries, or the demands of the day. Your heart is calm, and your thoughts are soft. That is why reciting the Quran at this time penetrates the soul so easily. The words feel heavier, more meaningful. They echo within you. And when you read them with reflection, they don't just stay on your tongue, they settle in your heart and transform your outlook for the day. Allah designed this time as a gift, a spiritual opening for those who want to connect with Him deeply. It is a moment that carries special blessings. And when you use it well, the effects ripple throughout your life. There's something extraordinary that happens when you build this habit. The verse you recite after Fajr becomes more than a routine. It becomes a source of light for your entire day. The world might test you, people might upset you, your plans might fall apart, but that one verse anchors your soul. You carry its strength within you wherever you go. It becomes your reminder, your protection, your guide. Every word of the Quran has a purpose, and when recited after Fajr, its impact multiplies because your heart is open, your faith is alert, and your intention is pure. Imagine starting your day with Allah's words instead of your phone, instead of social media, instead of the endless list of worries. Imagine the difference it would make. The first voice you hear, the first thought you embrace, the first emotion you feel, all rooted in His remembrance. That's not just peaceful, it's powerful. You start your day with purpose. You walk into your challenges with calm. You respond to negativity with patience. You handle stress with faith. That's what a single verse can do when it's recited at the right time, with the right heart. The Prophet said that the Quran recited at Fajr is witnessed by the angels who record it, honored by the heavens that hear it. That means every single time you sit and recite even one verse after Fajr, you are being watched and remembered by Allah's creation in a way you cannot imagine. You might feel like you're alone in your room, whispering into the early light, but you're not. The angels are with you. The blessings are descending upon you. The mercy of Allah is surrounding you. It's a sacred moment where heaven and earth meet in remembrance. Sometimes we underestimate what one verse can do. We think we need to read pages to feel connection, but Allah's words are not measured by quantity. They are measured by sincerity. One verse recited with reflection can change your entire outlook, your entire mood, even your entire life. It can remind you of your purpose when you've forgotten it. It can comfort your heart when you're in pain. It can strengthen your hope when you feel weak. Because the Quran is not just a book, it's a living message, a direct communication from Allah to you. So the next time you finish your Fajr prayer, pause. Don't rush back to sleep. Don't rush to your phone. Take a deep breath, open the Quran, and choose one verse. It doesn't matter which one, because if your heart is sincere, Allah will make that verse the one you needed to hear most. Recite it slowly. Let its meaning sink in. Close your eyes and let the peace of that moment wrap around you. That single act, repeated daily, will transform your heart. You'll notice your mornings feel lighter, your days flow smoother, and your nights end with more peace. Every dawn gives you a new beginning, a fresh chance to reconnect with the one who created the dawn itself. Don't waste that chance. When you make it a habit to recite a Quranic verse after Fajr, you're not just reading. You're renewing your soul every morning. You're setting your intention to walk through the day with His words in your heart. And when your heart starts its day with Allah, no matter what happens afterward, you will always find your way back to peace. When you recite a verse from the Quran after Fajr, you are not simply reading, you are building a shield around your soul for the entire day. This is the time when your heart is clean, your mind is fresh, and your connection with Allah is pure. The early hours of the morning carry a peace that cannot be found later in the day. It is as if the world is still asleep, but heaven is awake and waiting for your voice. When you open the Quran at that time, the angels draw closer, blessings descend, and tranquility fills the room. You may not see it, but your soul feels it, that invisible calm that stays with you long after you close the book. Reciting even one verse after Fajr sets the spiritual tone for your entire day. The words you speak from the Quran become light in your heart and strength in your actions. When you start your morning with remembrance, you invite divine peace into every moment that follows. The way you think, the way you respond, the way you deal with challenges, everything changes. You become more patient, more focused, more grateful. Because those few sacred minutes with the Quran remind you of who you are and who you belong to. They remind you that no matter what this world throws at you, you are protected, guided, and loved by the one who revealed those words. Every verse of the Quran holds power, but when recited after Fajr, that power intensifies. The Prophet said that the recitation at Fajr is witnessed by the angels. Imagine that for a moment. You are not alone when you recite. The unseen world bears witness to your devotion. The angels write your name among those who remember their Lord at dawn. The blessings of that moment follow you throughout your day, in your work, in your relationships, in your thoughts, and even in the things you never notice. Sometimes you may find your day unusually calm, your heart strangely content, and your plans unfolding easily. That is not coincidence. That is the quiet effect of remembrance at dawn. There is also something deeply personal about this time. The Quran you recite after Fajr often speaks directly to you. It feels as though Allah chose that verse for your heart, for your situation, for your pain or your confusion. You might open the Quran randomly, but what you read seems to answer something you've been struggling with. That is how Allah communicates with you, not through loud signs, but through soft guidance that finds you in silence. If you pay attention, you will realize that the verse you recite after Fajr often contains exactly the message you needed for that day. And the more you do it, the more consistent you become, the deeper the connection grows. One verse becomes two, then a page, then a habit. Soon, you will find yourself looking forward to that moment each morning, that quiet conversation between you and your Creator. It will no longer feel like a task. It will feel like nourishment, something your heart cannot live without. Even on your busiest mornings, even when sleep tempts you, you will find yourself drawn back to it because your soul knows its peace lies there. It's not about how long you read, it's about how sincerely you read. A few minutes of focused reflection after Fajr can do more for your heart than hours of distracted reading later in the day. Because at that time, the world hasn't yet taken hold of your thoughts. Your mind is soft, your heart is still, and your connection is clear. That's why it's called a blessed time, because whatever you plant in your heart then will grow throughout the day. When you make it a habit to recite one Quranic verse after Fajr, you are doing something powerful. You are choosing light over darkness, clarity over confusion, peace over chaos. You are aligning your soul with the one who created it. You are not only protecting yourself from negativity and anxiety, but you are also drawing closer to a state of calm that cannot be shaken by anything in this world. That one moment of remembrance can shape the rest of your day, and if done consistently, it can shape the rest of your life. So don't underestimate it. Don't think it's just one verse, because one verse can carry a lifetime of meaning. One verse can strengthen your faith. One verse can be the answer to your prayer. Recite it, reflect on it, and carry it with you. Let its light travel with you wherever you go. After all, when your day begins with the Quran, you begin your day under the shade of divine mercy, and nothing can compare to that. When you recite a Quranic verse after Fajr, you are not simply reading, you are making a silent promise to yourself and to Allah that no matter how the day unfolds, your heart will remain connected to Him. It is in these quiet moments before sunrise that destinies are shaped, hearts are healed, and burdens are lightened. People who experience this connection know that something changes deep inside them. Their worries may not disappear instantly, but their perspective shifts completely. They begin to see life differently, not through fear or uncertainty, but through peace and trust. Because the one who starts the day with the words of Allah walks through the day with a light that never fades. There is a hidden strength in this act that most people overlook. It's not about routine, it's about realignment. After Fajr, when the world is silent and your mind is clear, your soul is at its most receptive state. The verse you recite enters not just your ears, but your heart. It reshapes the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you face challenges. You may find that problems which used to overwhelm you suddenly seem smaller. The noise of the world loses its grip on your emotions. This is because that single verse anchors your heart to something greater than all your fears. It whispers to your soul that you are not alone, that there is a plan, that peace is not something you chase, it's something you build with every moment of remembrance. Consistency is the key. It's not about doing it once or twice when you feel inspired. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Because on the days when your heart feels heavy, when you are too tired, too sad, or too distracted, those are the days you need it most. And when you still choose to recite even one verse, you are declaring with your actions that your connection with Allah matters more than your mood, your sleep, or your struggles. Over time, this consistency transforms you. You begin to notice that the words of the Quran echo in your thoughts throughout the day, in your patience, your kindness, your reactions. You start to live by what you recite, and that is where true change begins. The wisdom within one verse can guide you through an entire day, sometimes even a lifetime. Each verse has layers of meaning, mercy, warning, comfort, and light. When you recite after Fajr, those meanings settle in your heart. You might not understand every word, but your soul does. It recognizes the truth in those words, and that truth shapes your destiny in unseen ways. Many people chase motivation from the world, from speeches, books, or success stories. But the truest motivation comes from divine words. When your morning begins with revelation, you no longer need external validation. Your heart becomes steady, your path becomes clear, and your soul becomes unshakable. Think about how differently your life could unfold if you dedicated just a few minutes after Fajr every day to this. Instead of reaching for your phone, you reach for the Quran. Instead of feeding your mind with distractions, you feed your soul with light. Those small moments accumulate. They don't just make your day better, they make your life better. They align you with divine timing, open unseen doors, and fill your heart with contentment that this world cannot offer. You begin to feel that everything, every challenge, every delay, every blessing is part of a bigger, divine plan designed specifically for you. And when you build this habit, you'll realize something beautiful. You don't chase peace anymore, peace chases you. The calm you feel after Fajr stays with you even in chaos. The same verse you recited in the morning will come back to you in moments of stress, reminding you of your strength, your purpose, and your connection to Allah. That's the power of remembrance. It plants seeds in your heart that continue to bloom throughout the day, even when you're unaware. So make this your routine. One verse after Fajr every single day. Protect that time. Guard it as something sacred, because it truly is. Don't underestimate its effect. You might not see immediate results, but your soul will feel the difference. Your day will flow differently. Your mindset will shift. Your heart will heal. Because when you start your day with Allah's words, you start your day with light. And once light enters your life, darkness has no place to stay.